Is that what you think this is about? Balls?
You should watch Judgment Night. This is one of the most underrated action thrillers to come out of the 90s, and I don't even really hear people talking about it, which is a fucking crime. To start with, the movie has a great cast. Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, and Stephen Dorff play a group of pals heading into the city for a boxing match in an RV. After a small confrontation in traffic with some prick, they bail on the freeway and they decide to go with the surface streets, but end up lost in the shittiest part of the shittiest town in Chicago. Eventually, they find themselves witnesses to an execution committed by a man who just doesn't like witnesses.
No witnesses.
Played by the always awesome Dennis Leary. Every one of these guys is great in this, with the highlights for me being Dennis Leary, who's simultaneously funny and creepy as fuck.
You don't understand. Shit. Guys like you gotta keep checking your pants to see if you got a dick. I got one. I don't think you... Shut the fuck up! You speak when fucking spoken to, okay? This is not fucking high school, motherfucker! I'll eat your fucking friends for fucking...
And Jeremy Piven, who really just fits this character and basically crushes it the whole movie. You all know a guy like this, right? Nails it. And the way the characters are written is really strong. The movie starts off with these guys meeting up and getting ready to hit the road for the boxing match, and within the first 5 minutes of this movie, you already get a really good idea of who these guys are and their relationships to one another. Not long after that, they have that confrontation on the freeway that I mentioned earlier, and once you see how each of these guys handles that situation, you really know who these guys are. Now the table is perfectly set to take them and put them through absolute hell. The pacing is pretty damn tight for a close to 2-hour movie. Once it kicks into high gear, it doesn't let up much. It's just one tense scene after another. Another thing I love about this movie is that none of these guys are like badass action heroes or anything like that. So many times in movies like this, the characters do things or make decisions that are just completely fucking absurd that no logical person would ever make. These are just a bunch of normal suburban guys who are way out of their depth, and they behave accordingly when the shit goes down. Some of them can keep their shit together, but others slowly start to crumble under the weight of the situation. It really makes you think about how you would react to some of these situations that these guys are put in. I mean, would you be able to sneak up on a guy who's holding a gun to your friend's head with only a lead pipe as your weapon, or would you freeze and cower like our friend Dorff here? For the record, I probably would have just kept my position there in cover and chucked the pipe at his head. The way things escalate in this movie is pulled off in a pretty believable way. I mean, none of it really feels contrived. It's believable enough. Leary's character's obsession with catching these guys, which at first is due to his rules, slowly becomes more of like a personal vendetta of what seems like pure frustration and pride. And Leary really kills it in this.
I think people would just complain. Guy in a joint one time, the cell next to me, used to yap about everything. We used to yap about the food, yap about the guard, yap about this, and yap about that. All night long, 747, you know? Yap. Right between your ears, and you can't get away from it because he's right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't rip him off. So as the night and the chase go on, different sides of all these characters start coming out in ways that completely make sense for the mounting tensions that they're feeling. I don't know, it's just really well made. Watch it. Alright, since this is more of a recommendation than a review, I really don't want to say too much more about the flick than I already have. If you like suspense thrillers, or even if you just like Dennis Leary, you should watch Judgment Night. And if that's not enough to convince you, I have here a review of the movie from an actual legit member of the cast that will definitely convince you.
My name is Carly Doer. I was in this movie. The little baby on the porch, Frank's daughter in the movie. I was wondering if I made a comment if maybe I would be put in the cast. I mean the kid on swing was. Ha ha smile. Since I must write a minimum of 10 lines, I might as well give a review. I was 14 when I was finally able to watch this movie due to the violence and it being rated R. My parents finally allowed me to watch the full film, not just the beginning where I'm in it for a good 3 minutes or so lol. For watched it so many times and show all my friends it's such a cool movie and it never gets old, not to mention is funny as hell and it's definitely a nail biter. It's a good movie on a rainy days. It's one of those movies you won't want to end.
Alright, that's all for this one. See ya!